Hello, Great Hearts, Texas families and staff, and welcome to our series, Championing Our Great-Hearted Texas Leaders. I'm here in Great Hearts, Monte Vista South with Headmaster Imber, and we're excited to converse with each other and have you join that conversation to explore our mission, model, and this campus community. So Headmaster Imber, tell us a little bit about Great Hearts, Monte Vista South.
Well, we are a downtown campus. This is our 10th year here. We serve 468 students from kinder to 5th grade. We are the first campus that Great Hearts, Arizona opened in Texas. And we pull students from different socioeconomic backgrounds from 60 different zip codes.
Okay, so this is the first Great Hearts, Texas school.
It is.
It's in downtown San Antonio and drawing from kind of across the whole county.
Yes.
What brought you to Great Hearts, Monte Vista South?
Well, when I started looking for a job after I'd been home raising children, I saw that Great Hearts, Monte Vista South had a focus on classical children's literature, which is one of my loves. Okay. So I applied here.
And you've been here at Monte Vista South for 8 years now?
This is my 8th year.
Okay, and we're a math teacher, moved into leadership, and now headmaster since May.
Yes.
Well, thank you for your leadership and for everything that you're doing.
I'm really enjoying it.
That's excellent. I love the books that we read in our lower school as well as upper school. Mm-hmm. What's one of your favorites?
The Velveteen Rabbit.
And what about that do you love?
I love that the boy loved the rabbit so much the rabbit became real.
It's a great story of the virtue of love and of caring and of friendship, and how through that love and care, our imagination brings things to life. Mm-hmm. Our mission really drives and animates our organization in so many ways. What part of our mission most resonates within your campus?
Our mission statement encompasses many things. And we have really high expectations, both for students academically and behaviorally, in our quest for truth, goodness, and beauty. And some of what Monte Vista South excels at the most is what we call ordered joy. Students have these high behavioral expectations, and then the teacher is allowed to teach the class. No one in that classroom is allowed to hijack the lesson, and so others aren't learning. So students are getting a high level of interaction with their teacher, and it's a peaceful environment.
That's awesome. Earlier today, we were having this conversation about ordered joy, about the order and the structure and the high expectations and the joy and the celebration. How does that come to life within a classroom?
Well, I have many passionate teachers who are masters of their craft, and they are able, through that passion and love of teaching, it's almost contagious. The students get the same sense, and they become really deeply involved in the curriculum.
We just talked about the Velveteen Rabbit and the love of that. And so the teacher passes on their love of the subject to their students. Mm-hmm. Building off of that, what is a beautiful aspect of our curriculum? There's so many of them.
This is a tough question because there's so many, from Spalding phonics to poetry recitation to hands-on science experiments. This was a hard question.
And you were a math teacher
before
moving into leadership here for quite a while. So I'm sure math is also high on the list.
Yes, math is what I'm going to talk about.
Okay, great.
So
great.
We have a Singapore curriculum that we use. And this curriculum allows students to see things concretely. So if students are learning, for example, about fractions, they would be given fraction strips as a concrete picture of what a fraction looks like.
And that makes it concrete.
Right.
You can see it and show it and not just abstractly understand it.
Right. So instead of being told this is a numerator and denominator, no, this is a picture of what it looks like and its value. Then students are taught to represent that pictorially through a bar model or perhaps a number line. Okay. So once you've been able to do both of those, now we pictorially can see what a fraction looks like. It's smaller than a whole. Many students in regular ISDs don't understand the fraction is smaller than a 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So then students then move to the abstract part, which is the hardest part, representing it using numbers and symbols.
That's right.
So by learning the concrete, pictorial, and abstract model, they have a firm understanding of what a fraction is, what it means, and how they can apply it to the next unit.
And at least when I learned math, it was very procedural in nature. It's all about the abstract, the number, the symbols,
Yes.
and less on the concrete and pictorial, which means that conceptual understanding of math was not baked into how we approach teaching and learning.
Yes, you couldn't take the knowledge of a fraction and apply it to the next unit. You just knew that in isolation.
That's right. How does that help students advance their mathematical mastery and understanding?
Well, they can take the knowledge that they have obtained and apply it to the next problem. For example, when they do a unit on mixed numbers, now they understand how a fraction behaves, what its value is, and they apply it to the next unit.
Fast forward to calculus, to higher level math. In our 12th grade classes, students take Calc 2. I was just in a Calc 2 class on Monday. And the procedural mathematics is important, but when you're in higher level math, it's all about the concepts. You have to understand the concepts at play and how to use those concepts to approach a complex advanced math problem.
The mathematical laws.
Yes.
You can't just do something without some reasoning behind it.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you for highlighting that. How does our mission and model shape our culture?
Our teachers are trained to teach Socratically, and many of us did not grow up in a Socratic home, and this is new. What makes this wonderful is that you, as a parent, would never walk into a Great Hearts classroom, K through 12, and have a teacher idly lecturing to kids who are bored in the classroom. That teacher is constantly pushing questions back on those students so that they are engaged in their own learning.
I agree so much. And doing hard work, there's often a misconception that doing hard things is something to avoid in education. For ourselves, if it's not challenging, if you don't have the joy of succeeding, this is the conversation we had earlier today. If you don't have that joy of doing a hard thing and succeeding at it, then you're missing out on huge elements of formation and also huge elements of motivation. So we challenge students to do hard work and succeed and grow in that. Headmaster Imber, what traditions and practices would a parent observe at Great Hearts Monte Vista South?
We have so many fun traditions and practices. One that I truly love the most are our quarter parties. At the end of a literature unit, students participate in what's called a quarter party, where, for example, in 4th grade, when they learn about medieval history, they will practice archery and they will have a medieval feast that the parents put on. So this further cements the learning on medieval history, and it's a fun element to that learning. Kids look forward to it every year.
They do. I can attest to that. It is a blast and a lot of fun for kids. And so literally in 4th grade, this is a spread, a feast, bows and arrows out in the field.
Yes. Kids have a contest to see who's the best archer.
That's amazing. In addition to that, there's academic field day.
Fine arts field day, athletic field day. And in 4th and 5th grade, you can participate in our house system, similar to British boarding schools. And these houses work towards points for positive things that they do.
I remember when there was the food drive right before the holiday break, that in the upper school, the houses are all competing with each other of who can bring in the most boxes and cans. Which is a net good for the community.
A lot of healthy competition was there.
A lot of healthy competition. And at the end, there were some winners.
Yes, House Pevensies won, and they got a pizza party and a paletta party.
That's wonderful. Well,
we had 10,000 cans donated.
Headmaster Imber, you mentioned the 9 virtues. How does that live out in the school, in the classroom?
Well, when they're reading classical literature, whoever the main characters or some of the sub-characters will ask what virtues are they exemplifying or what virtues are they lacking. Also, historical figures, like, for example, Martin Luther King was just highlighted and what virtues he exemplified. On the recess field, teachers are often having to talk with students about virtue and how that they can play together. And if a student has to come to me and they've had a tough day, perhaps I might ask them, what virtue were you lacking today?
So this is the virtue and the kind of student formation more broadly is woven into the curriculum, the conversations, the interactions, the
Yes.
relationships, the reflections. It's not a character development program.
No.
This is part
Every
of
day.
who we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. We've talked a lot about Great Hearts Monte Vista South and our classical mission and model. What's one unique aspect of your academy?
Well, we rent Temple Beth-El. And so we're in this historic, lovely building.
Mm-hmm.
It's been here 100 years. We often have events in the sanctuary where we can gather the whole school for things like the spelling bee or the winter concert, the spring concert. We have the San Antonio Opera come every year. House induction ceremonies and graduations for kinder and fifth grade will happen there too.
Yeah. So there's a depth to the physical space.
Yes.
That really echoes the depth of our curriculum, mission, and model.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, parents and staff, for joining us here today. And a huge thank you to Headmaster Imber for all the work that she is leading at Great Hearts Monte Vista South. Stay tuned as we continue to explore our other Great Hearts Texas schools and communities and talk with our headmasters about what it means to be a Great Hearts school, what it means to live into the Great Hearts mission and model.